Our reporting team, Govan, Whittles and Luyanda Dlala, were stuck on the flight. Govan with me now to explain what happened. Govan, good afternoon to you, and I'm sure you haven't had any sleep, so I appreciate you taking the time. How were you treated?
Well, it was interesting treatment from the start. It was hostile, to put it in a word. We were firstly taken aback by what was happening while we were stuck on board the plane, and put that down to perhaps them being confrontational because they were questioning the weapons and the permits. So a level of understanding at that point that, all right, this might not be because we're from South Africa. It might just be because of bureaucracy. And then the treatment, as soon as we got through, was dumbfounding. First, they wanted to arrest the head of the PPS, or at least stop him from trying to walk to the terminal. First, they sent buses to pick us up from the plane to disembark, after putting out a statement claiming that the people on the plane were refusing to disembark because they wanted to stay behind with their weapons. The people had indicated they were willing to leave a group of people there with the weapons and then disembark. They sent the buses. We looked at the buses arriving, and then the buses just turned away and went away. And then after that, the head of the delegation, Major General Wally Roda, tried to walk to the terminal. So you're not allowed to be on the tarmac if you're not wearing one of those SAA vests. And that led to another argument and a confrontation, and we were promptly warned, if you don't do this, you'll get into trouble, you might get arrested. But once they saw that we were, clearly preparing to just walk, it was about 1.5 kilometers, the buses suddenly returned, and we were able to get there. When we got inside the airport, they processed us at the terminal through the immigration facilities, through customs, with lightning speed. They had dedicated specific queue to us, and they had sent a statement hours earlier claiming the people didn't have correct documentation that were on the plane. When we got there, they just picked up diplomatic passports, stamped them, move along, stamped them, moved along. But when we got to the hotel, we realized it was either that we weren't used to their customs or that they were just very hostile people. When we tried to buy drinks or at the bar or at the restaurant, you'd have to buy your stuff, pay for it, and then show your receipt to the waiter. Then they would come and serve you. Obviously, we felt that they were being racist. Through much of this, we felt that they were being racist. There was a lot of bad interaction. And then the cherry on the cake that really just confirmed that it looked like the authorities had it out for us was when we got back to the airport. Now we're preparing to go back home. Firstly, they made the head of the delegation, Wally Roda, go through the scanner a number of times. But what was interesting, that when we arrived, there were about 2 people doing the checks for everyone. As soon as they realized we were the South Africans, a full team of 5 or 6 people came. And then our own Luyanda Dlala was a victim of what we think is racism. It definitely appeared to be racism. They made him go through the scanner. Then they told him, take off your shoes. So he takes off his shoes, but he questions them, why am I the only one being asked to do this, and why are all of your body cams switched off? Because at that moment, the new delegation was switched off. They made him take off his shoes. As he did that, they pushed him and told him, hey, just keep on going.
They literally pushed him with a hand.
They pushed him from the back and told him, you need to move faster. Through, and we were asking, what is this about? Because at that point, he wasn't wearing any metal object. He had no metal on him, and it would continue beeping. And that just set off a heated exchange between the South African delegation and the Polish custom officials at the airport, where we accused them of racism, and they laughed at us and said that what we were saying was stupid, and just told us to keep going. And of course, I mean, the delegation from the PPS weren't pleased by this. They were flanking us. Luyanda obviously traumatized by this, but it just confirmed to us that they really had it out for us, and we believe we experienced raw, naked racism that was showed against us.
So it's one thing if customs can be very difficult when you're coming into a country, but you are leaving a country here, so there's no threat. So you're forcing someone to take their shoes off. It's an SAA plane. It's not your problem if you're Polish. It's SAA's problem, essentially. And then he was physically pushed, despite posing no threat. That's astounding.
Yeah, and he was pushed while he was bent over, trying to take off his shoes. So it's in an unsuspecting position. He didn't.
It's a very vulnerable position.
Exactly, and they didn't explain to him why he needed to do that, why he was the only person being asked to do that at the airport. And the fact that they started laughing at us after we questioned them on this really just soured what was just terrible treatment by them, we felt. on multiple occasions. We understand that the Poles are not like South Africans, that we as South African people may be overly friendly, who like to engage.
Well, properly friendly,
strangers.
they're unfriendly, that's their problem.
Yeah, and I mean, it didn't help that most of the time they would just reply to us in Polish and seemingly, well, didn't really appear to be quite interested in what we had to say or what we were doing there. The fact that where we were staying at the hotel, there appeared to be a number of people intimidated by us being there, also really soured the visit. And it's important to put that on the record because it kind of informs the totality of the visit and gives us more insight into what happened beyond what we thought was a bureaucratic problem. We had already suspected that something was wrong when the plane landed, and we were taken as the aircraft to the furthest corner of the terminal in the cargo section, away from all the other passenger aircrafts, where the perimeter fence was right next to us. And upon our arrival, the camera crews were set up at the fence, filming us, waiting to see who was on the plane. They clearly knew that the South African delegation was coming, and to us it looked like they had planned to treat us this way.
Sure. There's so many different parts to this, and I mean, sometimes a customs official may do the wrong thing, sometimes there's an apology. Not a hint of that here from what you say.
None at all, just laughter. And total disregard for our feelings of being treated unfairly, particularly for Luyanda, who had raised this concern with the security official, and then when we realized that they weren't listening to us, we approached a different security official and told him that we believe that this other gentleman has acted improperly here. Why did he do that? We would like an explanation. And that's when we were told that our questions and what we were saying was stupid. And we were told to just get onto the plane and leave South Africa. It really just, it felt bad. And the fact that we could do nothing about it, and the fact that they had treated the head of the delegation, who was a Major General, Wally Rueda, with similar disdain, really soured the whole thing for us. And, well, we're hoping to get an explanation or hear from our government what the consequences would be, not necessarily for what happened at the airport, but for the serious allegation that someone with a diplomatic passport of South Africa was strip-searched by the Polish police when that person had attempted to reach the plane, where we were stuck on the tarmac for 26 hours.
I'm not aware of anyone with a diplomatic passport. I mean, as Wally Rueda says in the clip there, you know, it's never happened that someone with a diplomatic passport has been strip-searched in our country. I'm not aware of anyone, any South African being strip-searched in that way either. I've heard of a foreign affairs minister being forced to walk through security, but not strip-searched. That's astonishing. Govan, Whittles, thank you very much indeed. Very, very traumatic weekend, I think, for several South Africans, members of our team who report for you about what happened in Poland.